Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're talking about the thyroid, how it functions, why it often feels unstable during perimenopause, and what you can do to support it. We'll cover hypothyroidism, reverse T3, and how your thyroid interacts with other hormones. I'm Amber Sullivan, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and I've been where you are, exhausted, moody, and wondering why my body suddenly felt out of control. My mission is to help women move through perimenopause with more ease without extreme restriction, challenging workouts, or relying on medication. Let's start with the basics of the thyroid and how it works. The thyroid is a small, butterfly-shaped gland at the base of your neck. It controls metabolism, energy, temperature, and growth. It works closely with the hypothalamus and pituitary in what is called the HPT axis. Here's the pathway. The hypothalamus releases TRH, or thyroid releasing hormone, which signals the pituitary to release TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. TSH tells the thyroid to make T4 and T3. T4 is the inactive form. T3 is the active form. A negative feedback loop keeps this system balanced. To break it down, T4 is inactive like storage. T3 is active, driving metabolism. Reverse T3 looks like T3 but blocks the receptors. So when reverse T3 is high, it docks on the T3 receptor sites. TSH is the pituitary signal to the thyroid. All four matter when we're looking at thyroid health. Now, let's look at how fluctuating hormones in perimenopause affect thyroid function. Estrogen affects thyroid binding globulin, or TBG. When estrogen is high, more thyroid hormone is bound and less is free, which can create hypothyroid symptoms even when labs look normal. When estrogen is low, more thyroid hormone is free, but receptor sensitivity is reduced. These swings create thyroid instability in perimenopause. Progesterone supports thyroid receptor sensitivity. When progesterone declines, thyroid signaling becomes less efficient. Add high cortisol and the result is hypothyroid-like symptoms, even if the labs don't flag it. Stress increases cortisol, which pushes more T4 into reverse T3 instead of T3. Remember, T3 is our active hormone, and reverse T3 is almost like pumping the brake pedals. Reverse T3 blocks thyroid receptors, making your body behave as if it's hypothyroid. This is common in chronic stress, perimenopause, illness, or fasting. Now let's connect this to what we actually see in perimenopause. Subclinical hypothyroidism. This is when TSH looks normal, but free T3 is low or symptoms are present. It's common in perimenopause because of stress and fluctuating estrogen, but it often gets dismissed as just menopause or just perimenopause. Typical low thyroid symptoms include fatigue, sluggishness, brain fog, weight gain, cold hands and feet, hair loss, constipation, dry skin, brittle nails, and even depression or low motivation. High reverse T3 can cause the same symptoms as hypothyroidism: fatigue, slow metabolism, weight struggles, feeling cold, and low mood, even if labs say your thyroid is normal. This is especially common with chronic stress and perimenopause. Let's look at the biochemistry of how thyroid hormones are made and converted. About 80% of thyroid output is T4, the inactive form. It must be converted into T3 in the liver, gut, and cells. This conversion requires nutrients like selenium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and B vitamins. When you're stressed, sick, or inflamed, more T4 gets converted into reverse T3 instead of T3. Reverse T3 blocks receptors and slows metabolism. It's protective in the short term, but harmful if it continues chronically. Stress raises cortisol, which increases reverse T3 and lowers thyroid activity. Blood sugar swings stress the adrenals, which suppresses the thyroid. Perimenopause amplifies this triangle of dysfunction. Let's look at the labs we use to assess thyroid health. The basics are TSH, which is the pituitary signal, but it's not always accurate if viewed alone. Free T4 is the inactive hormone, and free T3 is the active hormone. Reverse T3 is the inactive blocker. Looking at all four together give a clearer picture. Now, beyond the basics, we can check thyroid antibodies to rule out Hashimoto, ferritin as it's needed for conversion, selenium, zinc, and magnesium levels as cofactors, and a cortisol panel to see if there's adrenal influence. Now, functional or optimal ranges are tighter than conventional ones. Ideally, TSH will be between 0.5 and 2. Free T3 is in the upper half of the lab range. Free T4 is in the mid to upper range, and reverse T3 is under 15. These ranges match better with symptom relief. Now let's talk about what supports thyroid health in perimenopause. Selenium, found in Brazil nuts and fish, supports T4 to T3 conversion. Zinc from pumpkin seeds and oysters improve receptor sensitivity. Iron supports conversion. Magnesium and B vitamins are enzyme cofactors. And avoid over-restriction or fasting helps prevent excess reverse T3. About 20% of T4 to T3 conversion happens in the gut. Dysbiosis, or bacterial overgrowth that we don't want, can impair it. A healthy microbiome and good liver detoxification are key for optimal thyroid function. Managing stress lowers cortisol, which reduces excess reverse T3. Parasympathetic practices, from adrenal cocktails to restorative sleep, all improve thyroid signaling. Exercise is important, but overtraining raises cortisol and suppresses thyroid function. The best approach is strength training 3 days per week for 15 to 20 minutes, walking, and restorative movements like yoga. And it can be personalized based on your labs and recovery. Here's an example. A 47-year-old woman with fatigue, weight gain, and poor sleep. Labs showed TSH at 2.8, free T4 mid-range, free T3 low, and reverse T3 high. She was under chronic stress, fasting, and eating very low carb. We focused on balanced meals, stress management, and mineral support. Her energy improved, weight stabilized, and her mood lifted. Now here's the summary of everything that we've talked about. Perimenopause often unmasks thyroid dysfunction. Estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, and blood sugar all influence the thyroid. Reverse T3 is a major cause of hidden hypothyroidism. Support lifestyle, minerals, gut, liver, and adrenal health to restore thyroid balance. Thyroid health is central during perimenopause. Hypothyroid symptoms are often misattributed to menopause or perimenopause. A functional approach looks beyond TSH alone. Optimizing thyroid health stabilizes energy, metabolism, and mood. Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like more personalized support, I'd love to share my Perimenopause Reset and Total Transformation programs because you deserve to feel like yourself again, rested, calm, and confident.